Hi everyone. So let's learn about what exactly a data engineer do. So data engineer is more about develops upstream tasking, or we can say upstream pipelines, or we can call them as a data pipeline. So what exactly upstream? So the data engineer is responsible to create the flow of the data from one place to the another place. So there are downstream tasking. So what exactly downstream tasking? People who consume the data. For example, data analyst, data scientist, AI engineers. So all of these people, what these people do, they try to consume the data for their regular to build an AI, or they will be consuming to create reports, or they consume data to develop certain predictive models. So that's what these profiles do. We call them as downstream tasks. Now this data engineering is there in the industry from a very long time. So we can call it as a data management. And in the olden days, people used to learn SSIS, SSRS, and all of these tools, if you remember. And we used to have even Informatica, people used to learn Informatica. Even still today, people are learning Informatica. There is talent and all of that concepts. And even they used to learn Teradata. In the olden days, we call them as database developers, or we used to call them as ETL developers. Now, data engineer is doing the same stuff, but with a different tools. Now, as the data is generating at a very high speed, now you cannot store all the data in the same legacy system. So you need to store that in a cloud platform. So now you are doing all this data management, or you're working on the ETL stuff on top of cloud platforms. Especially now if you are doing data engineering in right now 2026, so it's more of like developing them on top of a cloud platforms using AWS or using Azure or using GCP. So let's try to understand about data engineering. So we know that data engineering is a practice of designing, building and maintaining data pipelines in simple lines. Now, in order to manage the data, from where the data is getting generated, that is a very fundamental question, everyone has it. So that from where data is getting generated, if I take it as a company, so we can generate the data through a website. I can generate data through website. My customers are getting to my website, they are buying products, or we are able to generate the data through mobile app, or I'm able to generate the data through sensors, or I can generate the data through social media platforms, or even I can generate that data through various marketing platforms, financial platforms, etc., from different sources, company going to generate the data. So we call marketing platforms, financial platforms and all that. And now where exactly I want to store all that data? So like now whatever the data we are generating, where exactly we can store it? Now all these different sources going, we can categorize the data into three buckets. So we are able to, for example, three types of data. So based on its type, we are able to, or based on how exactly it looks like, we are able to categorize the data into three types of data. The very first one going to be structured data. We are able to call it as what? Structured data. And after having a structured data, we got another one called as semi-structured data. And the third one we call unstructured data. So now what is an unstructured data? Any data which is not in a row and a column wise format. So what is a structured data? Anything arranged across rows and columns, we are able to call it as structured data. Anything arranged across rows and columns, we are able to call it as a structured data. And unstructured is anything is not arranged across rows and columns. So we call unstructured. So what is an example of unstructured data? Images, video, audio, any of this, even etc., text files, all of this falls into your unstructured data. So this is an example of a structured data where exactly the data is arranged across rows. So these are columns: speaker identifier, birth date, birthplace, diagnosis, diagnosis B, etc. So file number, file name and all of this is a structured data. There are columns and there are different speaker identifiers. So like based on that, we arrange the data in a rows and columns. So if you are storing all the columns in one particular file, in one particular Excel file, we basically call it as a flat model, or we call it as a flat data. So now regularly if you are using Excel, we try to store all the data in one place, we are able to call it as a flat data. And if you are trying to store the data across multiple tables, for example, say speaker identifier is connected with this diagnosis table. So again, the speaker identifier is connected with with this recording session table. So in this way, now the tables are interconnected. So we call them as relational data. So when you are trying to store in data warehouses, in a data, especially data warehouses, you need to, I will be explaining them what is a data warehouse. Now we will be storing the data in a relational format for various reasons. We will be learning in the next upcoming lectures. So what exactly the purpose of a relational data storage? Now structured data is arranged across rows and columns, and this can be stored in two formats: flat data, another one going to be relational data. So in order to store this relational data, you are able to categorize them into two parts. This relational data can be stored across a database and across a data warehouse. So now you can store this relational data across a database and across a data warehouse. So what exactly a database and what is a data warehouse? So in simple lines, database stores OLTP data. So what exactly meant by OLTP data? So anything which is a transactional purpose. So now from morning to evening, I'm running a business. Now customers came to my shop, they purchased it. So which product they bought it. So like we call it as an OLTP data. So transactional processing, online transactional processing, that is called as OLTP data. Now this OLTP is used for the sake of, especially for storing all our day-to-day business operations. So now this is for data analyst, data scientist AI. This is for business process, for the sake of business process. So what exactly meant by business process? Someone purchased a product, we are writing that in a database, and then we are, so like the shipment team or the finance team or this team, another business team going to get in touch with them in order to provide them the best in class service. So that is an idea behind storing the data in a database. Now the relational data or a structured data, especially going to be in a flat or a relational, and relational going to be stored in a database, or it can be stored in a data warehouse. And if you are using it for the sake of transactional purpose, for the sake of business process, we call it as database, and we call that as online transactional processing. And if you are storing it for the sake of data analyst, data scientist, we call OLAP, online analytical processing, and we call that as a data warehouse. Now, here we need to understand one more type of data, and then I'll be explaining you ETL, what exactly meant by ETL. So semi-structured data going to be somewhere where you are trying to store the data in a JSON format, or where you have the data in a key and a value pair format, or the data is not completely structured, or the data is not completely unstructured. So like it is having uneven number of columns, uneven number of rows from one column to the another column, graph kind of data or a hierarchical data. In order to store all this kind of thing, we will be using semi-structured data. So where you store semi-structured data? By using NoSQL DB. So, or we call NoSQL database. So now, or what exactly meant by NoSQL database is, if you take this relational data, so you need to define a schema to it. What exactly meant by define a schema? You already defined name column, you already defined location column, you already defined sales column. So only that data can be stored. But when you are going into semi-structured data, you don't need to define a specified schema. Any type of semi-structured data can be stored. So in order to use this NoSQL DB, you are able to use MongoDB is one of the example, or Cassandra, you are able to use it in order to store NoSQL databases. And then now where you are storing this relational data, as we know, my database. So which tools you are using it? So now the tools going to be, I can use MySQL in order to store it as OLTP, or I can use Postgres in order to store it, or Microsoft SQL Server, any of this you can use it. And for a data warehouse also, you are able to use Postgres, you are able to use Teradata. So any of this you can use it. Now what is happening is, so now there is one, before I'm getting into the cloud one, let us try to understand one more. Now what exactly we are doing? We have these three types of data. Now the goal is, now that where exactly the data is getting generated, the data is getting generated. So, and where exactly it is writing, we can say OLTP, the data is getting writing if it is a structured data. Or in case if it is your any, for example, all the data can be happening from website, mobile apps, any of this. Now all of this data need to be stored in a data warehouse. So where exactly we need to store it? We want to store it in a data warehouse. So where the data analyst, data scientist going to consume it. So in order to perform that, we will be using a process called as ETL. So we will be using a process called as ETL. So what exactly ETL? So we have a process called as ETL. So ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. So what exactly meant by extract, transform, load is, now you want to extract the data from different data generation platforms. You are able to extract data from different data generation platforms. And then what exactly you are doing it, you want to transform the data. So now the data is getting generated from different platforms. The data is getting generated from website, mobile apps, sensors. For example, if the websites are generating structured data, it's going to be stored in a database, and if it is relational, and unstructured data going to be stored in a data lake. So where exactly you are trying to store unstructured data, we store it inside a data lake. And this data lake is more like a hard disk. For example, you can take your hard disk or you can take your Google Drive. You're able to store all your unstructured data in a data lake, and you are storing all your structured data. And if you are performing at a generation level, you are storing in a database which uses on top of MySQL Postgres. And if you want to store it for analytical purpose, it is going to be data warehouse. And now you are storing all your unstructured data in a data lake. So now what exactly we try to do in a real time? We are collecting data from different data generation platforms, and we try to store it at one central repository. So now I call that stage as staging. So like temporarily, whatever the data you extracted from different sources, you are storing it at the staging layer. So where exactly you are storing it inside a data lake. So inside a data lake, you are trying to store it. Now the data, so now what a data engineer going to do? So now he want to build the connections. So that's what even we are doing it here. Now these are various data generation platforms. Now the data engineer is trying to collect, he's building a connection using Azure Data Factory. So Azure Data Factory is used to ingest data from different sources into Azure Data Factory. So now that's what you are doing. So now you open Azure account. So within Azure Data Factory, you are able to start connecting with different sources wherever the data is available. And once you got the data, so like from different sources, you are temporarily storing it inside your data lake. So temporarily you are storing it, or we call it as a staging layer. Now data engineer understands, so based on the requirement, so he understands what type of cleaning to be done. So like the reason why now the data analyst going to consume it, or a data scientist going to consume it, or an AI person going to consume it. Now, for example, now I'm an AI engineer, I want to analyze images. Already the images are in data lake. I'll be collecting data from data lake, or I will be collecting images from data lake, or videos from data lake, or a text from data lake. Now, no, as a data scientist, I want to collect structured data. Now, we ingested all the data, but it is not ready for a data analyst or a data scientist to start consuming it. For that reason, what we are doing, we will be doing a transformation using Azure Databricks. Now this Azure Databricks contains, so in order to use these transformations, you need to use Python by using PySpark. So PySpark, with the help of Python, you are able to perform the transformation operations with the help of Azure Databricks. And the transformed data, now this is very important for your data engineering interviews and all that. Having a very good knowledge on PySpark, especially using Databricks, is very, very important. The reason why is that's the heart. You are collecting data, it's a simple, there is no coding here. Just you are trying to use connections, you are able to get the data getting stored, and then you want to understand what exactly your data analyst requirement, data science requirement, you are doing a cleaning operation, and then you are storing transform data inside a data lake if you want it, or you can directly write it into Synapse Analytics. Now, the Synapse Analytics is a data warehouse. So now, if you want to store the data for the sake of analytics for downstream tasking, Synapse Analytics, or you can use a AWS Redshift, or you can use Snowflake, any of this particular data warehouses, you are able to use it. Now, this is a data warehouse, Azure Synapse Analytics. Now, I'm transforming it. Now, structured data, I'm storing it inside Synapse Analytics. And from the Synapse Analytics, data analyst can collect the data scientist can collect the data. So AI person can collect the data. If he's working on relational data, structured relational data if he's working on, he can collect it from Azure Synapse Analytics. Now, the pillar for your data engineering interviews or for a data engineering job is how well you are able to create the system design. So why you thought of data factory, why you thought of data lake there, why you thought of Synapse Analytics, why you thought of Databricks there. So the system designing part is important. And the second part going to be how good you are able to write the transformation, the PySpark command, that is very, very important. And the third thing going to be, you want to write an SQL query to fetch the data. Now you are the one who created it. You need to have a very good amount of knowledge on your SQL syntax on SQL query. That's the reason if you are preparing for data engineering, be very good with SQL, be very good with Python, that too PySpark. And rest of all is just like connection of the tools.